Hey everyone, Pete Werner here with your Diz Daily Fix for Monday, August 14th, 2017. And here is what's happening today. Before I get to the news, I do want to make an apology. Earlier today, we posted a story on the Diz that the menu at the California Grill for dinner had changed to a buffet. Based on all the information we had and several calls to Disney, it looked like that was the case. It turned out to be a glitch on Disney's side. We have since removed the story and issued a retraction. So just to anybody who found that story and got as upset as I did at the news, it's all good. We always do our best to confirm these things, but sometimes things happen. But I just wanted to let everyone know that that story is in fact not accurate. Disney did issue a statement saying that they were having a glitch on their end. So the menu at the California Grill is unchanged as far as we know. And looks like that was probably like a holiday menu that accidentally got put up instead. So, and there were some problems with some other restaurants as well. So we did everything we could to confirm the story. And when we called Disney, they were saying that's what we're seeing too. But eventually they confirmed that it was a mistake. So just want to apologize to anybody who got nervous the way I did. So with that, let's move on to our first story today. And that is that Shonda Rhimes, who is the creator of several very successful shows for ABC, has announced that she has signed an exclusive multi-year deal with Netflix. Her production company, Shondaland, is behind the hits Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. And while those shows will continue to appear on ABC, all her new efforts are moving over to Netflix. Now, why is this important? Well, last week, Disney announced that they were going to drop their support of Netflix. Netflix right now getting the Marvel films, Star Wars, things like that. And that Disney was going to launch its own streaming service. And that was a big story and got a lot of attention and made a lot of people in the entertainment industry very, very nervous because it marked a real sea change in how these things were going to happen. That, you know, now major networks are going to invest huge sums of money, especially a media conglomerate like Disney was going to invest huge sums of money in their own streaming service. And, you know, we've been hearing about the promise of cord cutting for quite some time. And with Disney's announcement last week, it looked like this was starting now to get to the point where that could really start to happen. So it's kind of shaking things up in entertainment. So for Netflix to then a few days later announce that they have poached one of the most potent producers in television right now to exclusively develop content for their streaming channel is another very big deal. Shonda Rhimes, very successful. I love her stuff. So this is kind of an important story, and what you're seeing is this battle for supremacy in the streaming market. And I think we're going to be hearing a lot of stories in the coming months from other media companies doing similar things. This is going to get very, very interesting. And within the next few years, if not sooner, it's going to really, I think, have an impact on how we watch and consume our media away from television, which has got to be making Comcast and Time Warner and several other cable companies very, very nervous. So interested to see what happens there. And now, while we're talking about Netflix, it was also announced, excuse me, that Netflix is in active discussions with Disney to keep the Star Wars and Marvel titles. After that announcement last week that Disney was going to be pulling everything, Netflix and Disney is being confirmed by multiple sources that they're trying to work out a deal to keep Star Wars and Marvel content on Netflix. With this announcement of Shonda Rhimes jumping ship, who knows how that's going, to play out. But Bob Iger had stated that it has not been decided yet where Disney would house their Marvel or Star Wars content. So I think it's going to all come down to dollars. We'll see. Now, in another story having nothing to do with streaming television, Disney's global vice president for food and beverage, Beth Scott, I had to look at her name because I don't know who she is reportedly leaving Disney and heading over to Bloomin Brands, which is a hospitality company that owns a lot of casual style restaurants. The reason I wanted to mention this is that she's been with Disney for about 3 years. I believe she'd been with Lowe's, Hilton, went to Disney. Now she's going over basically to Fleming's Steakhouse, which is a great steakhouse chain. And the reason this is important is she's in charge of global food and beverage for Disney. And in the last 5 years, and some of that being under her tutelage, Disney's made huge strides in the quality and creativity of the food. So we're hoping this continues with whoever replaces her, although that has not yet been announced. But it's definitely an interesting story that we'll keep an eye on and report on as changes come. But Beth Scott headed over to Fleming's Prime Steakhouse. And I don't know. It's like I said, there's a really good steakhouse. So I don't know how she could possibly make it better, but we'll see. All right, moving over to The Diz today. Our featured article comes from contributor Kelly Jenkins and is titled Doing Disney Different, Part 1, Time of the Year. Over on Dizboards today, our trending thread is surrounded by a subject that many folks might have some experience with. The thread, started by poster Married to MM, is titled The Difference Between Them and Us. Them being significant others and us being obsessive Disney planners. I've been here. It's a very humorous discussion that describes what it's like when folks are planning their trips to Disney and differences in the level of Disney obsession are on opposite ends of the spectrum. So if you're married to a non-Disney fan, as I had been at one point, you can appreciate this discussion. It makes planning a lot more difficult, but you can kind of look at it from the other perspective. It makes you get a lot more creative with how you plan your trips, and I was able to do that with my ex. I was able to find the things that I knew he would like and that were Disney experiences, but would play into the things that he enjoyed. So Fort Wilderness was a huge part of that. So head over to Dizboards.com and check that out. That's over on the Theme Parks, Attractions, and Strategies forum. Over on DizUnplugged.com today, the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged with host Tom Bell and his team. This week, Michael Bowling chats with Michael Labrie from the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco about their new exhibition featuring the art of Evind Earl. Am I pronouncing that right, Craig? Evind? Head over to DizUnplugged.com and check out that show. Also on DizUnplugged.com today, the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast with John Magi, Kevin Close, and Tracy Heinrichs. This week, they have a question and answer show all about Disney's Aulani. So if you're thinking about heading over to Aulani, be sure to check that out. Finally, in the weather, if you're heading into the parks in Orlando tomorrow, you can expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 91 and a low of 76. And out in Anaheim, also partly cloudy skies, but much better temperatures, high of 75 and a low of 64. You can find links to all these stories and more on the Daily Fix main page at wdwinfo.com/dailyfix. That'll do it for me today. Join us again tomorrow for the next installment of the Diz Daily Fix. Have a great day, everyone.